Hey everyone, it's MamaDoesNailz and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year, all of you. Happy New Year to you, your family, your loved ones, your friends, everyone. And yeah, welcome to 2023. And I'm absolutely grateful, honestly. So this is literally my first video I'm filming of 2023, but I have been live and we've been doing stuff on Instagram, but I need to do my nails. So I've put some tips down. I just want to use a cover color so I don't need to encapsulate, because when I film tomorrow, I'll be designing the nails. So all I'm literally going to do is I'm going to put this acrylic down from Nail Couture. Don't forget, guys, I have a code. You can save 10%. And I'm also using some ENC monomer. This one here. Yes. And we're going to use the salmon pink. But I want to try something different with you guys. I have a little story time for you. It's actually a true story. And because of the people involved and also for respect for the family involved, I am not going to reveal the name of the people I'm talking about, but I will tell you the story. So literally, I'm telling you this story from my point of view because I had this murderer in my home more than once. So, I thought about it and I thought, yeah, why not? These are stories that I'm not just reading. These are stories, as I said, I'm either involved in or, I witnessed. So, that's the reason why. Now, it's so sad because I think it's fair to say that sometimes you can just meet some people and, you just get a funny sense of them, but you don't know why. Also, guys, quick, I'm using my oh my gosh, I gotta ignore this. It's sister. Okay, guys, I just had a really important call, so I had to take that. And I also used the opportunity to do the thumb. You know why? Because the thumb is just always awkward, so we don't want to have to do that. I don't feel like my setting is right because I'm using my left hand and it's, for me, my non-dominant hand. But yeah, we're going to make this work. So I just want to say also, this is not a nail tutorial. This is just me doing my nails. I am a nail enthusiast. I am self-taught, but I will be doing that nail course this year, God willing. And then by that time, I'll be able to actually, say, hey, do this, do that. So please just enjoy the video while I do my own nails at home, because it is what it is now. This is what we're all doing. So as I was saying, like you can get that feeling, right, where you think someone just ain't right. But that doesn't nowhere make me feel any better about what happened, what I'm about to tell you, because that's not what I thought. Let's just say that. I'm going to keep it 100% real. It's not what I thought. There were many things that went through my mind, like, why is he like that? Why hasn't he got no shame? No manners, but not murder. So my partner then used to work from home. And that just meant that though we had people coming in our home, they were people of, like, friends of friends, so to speak. But again, this is not me throwing any shade on that person, because I don't think they knew either. No, I don't think. I know they didn't know either. It's not the kind of thing that and you just like sidestep. I hope I'm in frame. So the very first time he actually came into our home, this was happening while we were in temporary accommodation. So he actually came to more than one of our properties. And I would say this was probably maybe 2013. So between 2013 and 2014 is, that's the time frame I'm talking about. Now, this person, they presented as we all do, I guess, in the eyes of everyone, like, we're normal. I hope I am in frame. It's my left hand eye. I can't do it. I'm really trying to keep her in frame, but hey, I'm gonna move this over here because it's harder to do it like that. But yeah, so this, and again, the person that he came with is someone that my partner then, he knows this person. Like, he is not the kind of person you would even think, okay, yeah, maybe he knows and he kept it a secret. It really is one of those things, you just never know somebody, right? And also, I think it's fair to say that we all have triggers and we don't know what those triggers could be. So this one time, this person had come to the house. My partner then wasn't very happy because he'd already sort of been like, you got no manners and all of that stuff. And I generally don't, have anything to do with the business like that. I didn't have anything to do with it. So it's not as though I had to be present. But say, for instance, if I was in the kitchen, if I was cooking or doing something, then, I'm going to be around. There was actually a time, like, my partner was smoking and he wanted to just pick up, and smoke. And he actually said it to me, like, oh, like, do you mind if I pick that up? I said, well, it's not mine, it's my partner's, so you can go and ask him. And obviously I know how, my partner stayed, like, he's not sharing if he doesn't know you, kind of thing. And I mean, who would? So it's a personal thing, isn't it? So if you're vaping, for instance, which is what it was, and your vape is sitting there, you can't, if you don't know the person like that, just want to take it and, and just do. So that, for me, that kind of red flag, as I said, is more about no manners, no home training, just, awkward. And so for me, as I said, I'm doing my thing. I'm not trying to get involved. This is not my friend. You're here with someone who's here to see my partner, kind of thing. So, I just said what I said, and then I kind of called my partner's attention to it, and he was just like, what? No, I'm not sharing with you. I don't know you like that. Like, it's all good, but, and it's true, I don't know you like that. So he actually didn't like that, but it is what it is, right? He stayed around in the kitchen around me again, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, not even in a bad way, but I'm just like, can't this guy just kind of just like leave me alone, like, kind of thing. So he was asking me just questions, just talking about random stuff, but I'm just trying to be, in a sense, polite, and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh. And then I think my partner could hear, my tone, and he came over and just said, yeah, come and sit out here, because, like, my woman's busy and all of that. Let me just see. Should I zoom in? Just a little bit. Yes. Okay. So at that point, again, as I said, these are just things. He was someone now when he started coming around, even the kids, like my eldest son, just thought there was something, oh my gosh, about him. Why did I just put on that acrylic like polygel? As I said, I'm not teaching you. I'm taking as many strokes as I need. But this is just, I feel, better doing it when I'm doing my left hand, when I'm using my right hand, on my left hand. But yeah, so my eldest, would say, like, I don't know what it is, Mum, but it's just something about that guy. It's just, and to be honest, it gives me the chills now when I think about like the jokes that we would make, because it's just awkward. Those people who would just, ask an awkward question, behave in an awkward way, just say those things that you just think, OMG, did you engage your brain before you spoke, kind of thing. Jesus Lord. And I'm not also using my best brush because I messed it up. Yeah. So we actually got to a place where whenever he came round, we avoided him like the plague. I made sure, nothing was left out, because he already struck me as the kind of person who, if you even probably left maybe your juice or something out, and he thought he wanted something to drink, maybe he would drink it and just put it down and just literally, just trouble your stuff. So that was that, as I said, and he just became that guy that I stayed away from whenever he came around. And as I said, my partner works from home, so it wasn't as though he ever just came to visit, kind of thing. He would come for the service. So as I said, we were in temporary accommodation at the time, so we moved again. Hadn't seen him for a hot minute, and one of the places that we moved to afterwards, he actually came to. So this time he didn't come with the friend that knows, my partner. He came on his own, so he must have got my partner's number, made a call and whatever, and he gave him a time, gave him a destination. And I remember we were thinking, this, not freak, but this is me just being as honest to you, because as I said, now when I think about it, I get goosebumps thinking about it. So yeah, we're in this new place now anyway, and he's come, he's got the service, all of that. So one time he's tried to come for a service, and like he was told basically it was too late and it might not be able to get done. So my partner was actually working still at the time, and he turned up. So when he's turned up now, my partner buzzed him in, and I think he just kind of wanted him to come in and see, like, look, I'm not just saying no, it's because it's already late, and I'm nearly finished with this customer, and after that, I guess he wants to call it a day. So he came in, sat down, saw all of that, the last customer left and everything, and he was sitting down. So I remember, like, I was in my room, and then I've come downstairs and he's still basically, down there. So I remember saying, like, wait, why is he still here? And, my partner was just like, I don't even know, because I already told him that it's too late for me tonight and stuff. So I'm thinking to myself now, okay, maybe, he's waiting for, I don't know, a taxi, the bus, something. So then, as I said, my partner had finished with that customer. So now it's like he was, just, I guess, tidying up his tools and all that good stuff. And for that, I guess 10-15 minutes, he forgot this person was sitting down. He, at this point now, proceeded towards my partner, and I was actually coming downstairs at the same time, and I heard him saying to him like, "Oh, so are you sure? Are you sure you can't do it?" So even at that point, I remember now my partner's stance had changed now, and he's like, "Look, I already spoke to you, and I've already told you, like, why are you even here? You should be going home." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, but I was waiting because I thought, maybe," and again he was told no, he should go. So this time now it's getting a bit loud, and in fact my eldest son came downstairs, and he was just like, "Oh, what's going on?" So I was telling him, I was like, "Oh yes, obviously it can't be done today," and he didn't take no for an answer, and he still turned up. I said, and when he turned up, obviously I don't know what he thought, like, when people think like, "Oh, well, I'm here now, so you might as well do it because I'm here." And it started to get loud, and at that point, he sat down. So for me, major alarm bells rang off, because I, as I said, wasn't thinking anything. I'm just thinking that, okay, it's about to kick off now, because I already know how my partner at the time, I know how he stays, and not even that, but you are overstepping the mark now. What's the problem? I can't offer you a service tonight. Like, literally, it wasn't even like he was promised. And I think, looking back now to then, when you think if you'd known, you would have just not even opened the door to this person, knowing now what we know. So I said, that day that happened, he reluctantly left, and even before that, he did a couple of things. He asked for a drink. He even went as far as to ask for food. And I just remember that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And at that time, he was just told to get the F out, basically. And my partner just said to him, "I don't even like how you've come here today." So he was going to call the mutual friend that originally brought him, and the way it was left off, I didn't think that he was going to come back, and he really didn't, and we were happy for that. So as I said, this is about 2014 now, towards the end of 2014. So we moved towards the end of that year. I'm just looking at the nails, because when you don't want to make it too thick, but at the same time I was just looking at the tip, and I'm like, it just looks a little bit thin there, sorry, just checking. This is not going to be exactly my best application, but guess what, it is fine. But yeah, so we moved, and like I said, we never did see this person again. And in fact, the person who had brought him, he had returned. We'd seen him again when we moved, and he actually said, like, yeah, not really messing about with him anymore and stuff like that. And what he was actually doing at the time I'm talking about is different to what the papers say he was doing. Okay, just going to wait for that. We'll tell the story. So now I'm just going to go into the facts for you. So that was just the little background as to, the murderer in my home, around me, in my midst. So it was now literally 2 years later when I heard this story that a personal trainer was facing life behind bars after scalping and stabbing his lover to death in front of her 2-year-old daughter. And he was high at the time on a concoction of cocaine and cannabis, it said. When the picture flashed up on the screen, let me tell you how I nearly dropped down. In fact, I think that was the day everybody that knew heard about it, because it was on the news, it was in the papers, and I felt cold AF. I just want to say respectfully, may her soul rest in absolute peace. For the sake of her privacy and respect, I'm going to call this lady Alice. She was 24 years old. He was actually 22 at the time. Now, they were dating. They were going out. And she had invited him to stay at her home. And they shared a meal. And they watched TV together. So, obviously, it's not the first time and stuff like that. So, you don't mind because you think this is your boyfriend or, your lover, whatever, but you're not thinking stranger, and so your mind's not there. Now, there was some more information where it almost seems as though it was orchestrated, because he just kept hanging around and didn't want to go home, and waited around until it was too late to go home, and then he asked if he could stay, which she said, yeah, he could stay. Now, sometime in that night, things must have changed. And I say this because what had changed to make you go from having a meal, watching a TV show, to stabbing and killing somebody? Basically, he was wielding a knife early hours of the morning, and he chased Alice out of her bedroom. And he was shouting at her saying, "You are going to see the real Lucifer." He stabbed this lady 26 times in her head, her face, her eye, her neck, and chest, as she and her cousin tried to escape with the children. Yes. She was left laying in a pool of her blood on the doorstep, her doorstep. And this was now at 6:30 in the morning, roughly, in 2016. Now, when the police arrived to the scene, you can imagine, they found him there. He didn't run off. He was still there. He was cupping his genitals with his left hand, and then he was rambling about Lucifer and also being transgender. Now, this is what he was saying. So, there was an officer on the scene, as there always is, that would tell you it's the most horrific thing they had ever seen, because according to him, he said it looked as though she had been scalped. In court, they heard that the police had to use riot shields, and in the end, they had to taser him to subdue him. You can imagine when you've done that and you're about to arrest the person, but instead they say, "What am I going to get for this? Have I just killed somebody?" And then he actually suggested that he could resurrect the victim, Alice. Can you imagine? So, you know, when police obviously the next day searched and everything as they have to, they found holes in the walls the size of his fist. They found Bibles. Yeah, not one, Bibles. And they found cocaine. And imagine, they'd only met 2 or 3 weeks before she was killed, but they ate a meal on that night he killed her. And it's horrible, because why people might think it's premeditated is because it's almost like he was building up to it. The cousin who was actually there said that every time Alice left, like the room, maybe go to the toilet or whatever, he would just gulp the juice that he was drinking, the alcohol beverage he was drinking. He would just, drinking the rum, just drinking it. And obviously she must have been thinking, like, what is going on? And as I said, it was all orchestrated, because he did that probably to look wasted. And then late hours in the morning, you're just going to feel sorry for them and be like, oh, okay, you can stay. It was horrible. I'm telling you, listening to that, it took me ages. Honestly, it was horrible. Like, there was her cousin and children in the house, but your instincts as a parent, they had to have kicked in, because she actually burst into her cousin's bedroom, and at this point blood was gushing from her thigh, and she was just like, look, call the police, call the police. The cousin just grabbed the children and left that flat to get help from neighbors. She couldn't help her cousin, and she was left laying. And I guess the main thing here was to save the children. Honestly, this was really, really harrowing, and I hope I haven't triggered anybody. But this was something that, as I said, not injecting myself, but it could have been me. It could have been my partner at the time. It could have been our kids, because that last time I saw him, he had a look, and I was genuinely scared, because the most I was thinking was it was going to be a fight. But honestly, no one knows really whether he was in a psychotic state because he had voluntarily consumed illegal drugs, nor do they know if it was because he used cannabis and cocaine. But he was, they say, in a state of voluntary induced intoxication, because no one forced you. They still don't know if there was some kind of underlying medical cause for his behavior. But what do you do? What do you do about that? I guess the point, as you come to the end of this, is what do you do? And I think our instincts are there to guide us, guys. My instincts have never failed me, and I mean genuinely. So I would definitely say, listen to your instincts, guys. Your instincts will not fail you. They will always tell you, what to do, what not to do. And if you get that feeling, then you get that feeling. We invite people into our homes all the time, so it didn't have to be, a scenario such as this. It didn't have to be. The whole point is, we don't know who anyone is. We don't know their triggers. We don't know them. We assume that you wouldn't do the worst. But honestly, that is a real true life event that happened. And if you actually lived in the UK, you'd probably know or have heard of that story, and you probably know what story it is that I'm telling you about, but it was a tragedy. It really was. This lady, Alice, as I called her, for just to respect her family. She was so beautiful, guys. Oh my gosh, absolutely a beautiful woman. And I just hate the fact that people do this drugs and all this stuff, and then they bring up the Bible and the reference to Lucifer. Nobody knows anybody, and nor does anyone know when anyone can be triggered. The only people you know are the people you know. And even so, it's really scary to think someone you could have known for a long time can change. But definitely, did I see murder in his eyes? No. I'm not going to lie and say, I thought that. But then, after the fact and hearing all of this, maybe that look was murder. Maybe that was the look of murder. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm just saying, I did not sense that at the time. I did not think that. It was an absolute shock to my system, and I guess to everybody. And there are lots of, people who can say, something similar has happened to them. But honestly, that's like something that shocked me to my core. Literally to my core. So yeah, that brings me to the end of my story time, and I hope that, again, as I said, this didn't trigger anybody. This isn't like a horror story time. It is about something that happened that honestly could have easily happened to me. And I'm just so sorry, because as I said, no one deserves to be treated that way. But anyway, guys, I have come towards the end of this video, which was more about me laying down this acrylic. And I will be back tomorrow. So I do hope you can join me, because I will be doing a design on these phalanges. They'll be filed, bathed, and all of that good stuff. So this is me, MamaDoesNailz. I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And if you aren't already subscribed, guys, please consider doing so. Please help me to my road to 1K. I will leave my sister's YouTube channels as well, just the handles. And if you are already following me, please consider following them, because they're my charm sisters and they're absolutely amazing, and you won't regret it. They actually, the content is, you will not regret it. So yeah, I will also leave the discount for the Nail Couture. Sorry, I'm just cleaning this acrylic pot. I will leave a link for it in the description box. And also, guys, if you did like this video, please give me a like. It does help the channel. It really does. I'm just going to leave that brush in there for a little tiny moment. And I need to go now, please, because I need to open the window. It was so loud in the back, and I didn't want all that distraction while we were talking. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to do a design on these nails. This was Salmon Pink from Nail Couture, and I'm MamaDoesNailz, and I'm out. I love you all. Please catch me in the next one.
What are we gonna do about you, about you?